Is closed on the 15th of August, 2023. As always, we'll do our disclaimer first. We'll go over our calls and make some predictions. This is my trading plan for tomorrow, which is August the 16th, 2023. Remember, my calls can be completely wrong, and any trade you make should be made at your own risk. Also, remember, this is my trading plan for tomorrow. I don't predict what happens overnight. And don't forget, if we gap sharply in the undesired direction, my call's killed before the open. That's what happened today. I had all kinds of positive stuff. But as always, the call's killed before the open because we gapped sharply in the undesired direction. And the difference between a call that's killed and a call that's wrong is if the call is killed, it doesn't cost me any money. This was a pattern which typically is a negative pattern. When it's positive instead, it should lead to higher prices. The catch is today's open can substitute for yesterday's close. Today's open gapped down smartly, undercut this low in a straight line. That's the normal pattern, from a high to a low. It's just that the low came later than it normally comes, by about an hour, but that's within the tolerance. Of course, up here, I didn't have anything telling me that was going to happen, and that's why I don't hold these things overnight. Now, we do have a wall here into the close. Here's your wall, not much of one, with a gap, and these wall with gap patterns do fill at some time, and they tend to fill pretty quickly. I don't expect this one to fill quickly, and if it doesn't fill quickly, even though it should fill at some time, it doesn't have to be any time soon. It can take months. So this is pretty negative action. Let's take a look at the MEJT calls from today, and then we'll take a look at the longer term picture. Well, the only thing the system had to say was this move up here was false, would retrace, and then it said this drop was false, and that would retrace, and that's already played out. Longer term, we're still in a pretty strong uptrend, but we can have a pretty big correction here, and we'll still be in the strong uptrend. Now, I have support in a number of places. One place I've been looking for a long time is the low 4400s, and that's where this Andrews pitchfork ends. At this time, I'm not convinced that's going to hold. This was pretty weak action today. And just because that is a target, it doesn't make it the only target. You can come up with balance of the waves around 4400, which is under the pitchfork. But again, just because that works, it doesn't mean other things don't. This is a trend line. We drop to it, but not through it. And the rule is either you gap under the trend line or the trend line wins. Gapping under if you don't gap under the trend line but you trade under it, you should retrace to the trend line at some point, and usually you don't have to wait long. And that's entirely possible, even though futures are down as I'm recording this. But if you do gap under it, we should drop under that line by as much as we traded over it, unless you reverse immediately. And that's over 200 handles down if we gap under this line and don't reverse immediately. So tomorrow's open is going to be critical. We gap down here and don't come back up within a few days, we're going to probably drop to near 4,200 or even lower. Now, there is a chance we don't gap down. I mean, if that's an A and that's a B on your 5-minute chart, you have a nice fib ratio. So it's possible, but it's not the kind of thing I'd like to bet money on myself. Just because that ratio works doesn't mean some other one won't. Well, tomorrow's pattern has yearly low, doesn't mean you won't gap up. We're nearing my long-term target in the low 4400s. While there is support there, I'm not convinced it's going to hold, as today's early trade invalidated yesterday's action because the open substituted for yesterday's close. We dropped to a trend line, so unless we gap under the line, any breakthrough it should reverse at some time. And the fib ratios at today's low give some hope for a bounce early tomorrow, but nothing requires that hope to be fulfilled. If you gap under the trend line and you don't reverse promptly, we're going to drop at least 200 handles, not in a day, of course. You can't give a precise price target as the line's moving. It's a slanted line. But we gap under that line and don't reverse it promptly, we're going to take care of a lot of these lower targets I had from earlier this year. Negative action, the low's not in, chance for a bounce, but no guarantee of a bounce. And you gap under it and hold it, and that's a long way down. It's the pattern with the early low, and that's today's call.